Next key ingredient are spring onions, and you keep them fresh by putting them in a vase of water just like you would flowers. And you really just need to take those little roots off at the end of each one. And I'm going to use both the whites and a fair way up into the green of these as well, until it begins to get too hollow in the middle, and then I don't want to use that, just the leaf if you like. Now, my next ingredient, you've got to say, is almost the most important one in Sichuan cuisine. We've got chilies here, and I'm using dried chilies because they have a really intensified flavour once they've dried out. And this dish is not for the faint-hearted, so I'm using around about 8 chilies. I'm going to chop these in half, but leave them big enough that, you know, people could fish them out if they needed to. And those seeds we're leaving in as well, and that's because we're after heat with this Sichuan dish. I'm going to make my sauce now. I'm using both dark and light soy sauce for this recipe. So I'm using around about a tablespoon of the dark and then twice as much of the light soy sauce. And that's because the dark would have far too much flavour if I used all dark, but the light doesn't have quite enough, so use a bit of a combo. Some of that Chinese rice wine again for a little bit of a tang. Whoop, quite a bit of a tang. And Chinese black vinegar as well. It's not always easy to find, but if you need to have a substitute, you can use balsamic vinegar, about the same quantity, so a teaspoon of that in there. A little bit of sugar here. So again, we've sort of got that slightly sweet and sour thing going on. We've got the vinegar in there for the tartness, and then around about a teaspoon and a half full of just plain white sugar is fine. And 2 teaspoons of corn flour, and that'll give us a nice sheen to our dish as well as thicken the sauce up. Just make sure that all of that cornstarch is well dissolved. Add a little bit of water. You can see I really like to measure the water out. You can always add more when it's in the wok. That sauce is going to be added at the end, and it's going to go beautiful and syrupy in the cooking and bind the rest of the ingredients together.